Enter Talk Radio. You're in to all things music.
Bunny Brunel. I mean, the guy's a legend. The first time I saw Bunny, I was 19, a fresh, baby-faced kid who traveled from Melbourne, Australia to the US to study and to see his idols play, which I was deprived of way down there in Australia, down under. Mm-hmm. And I happened to see Bunny with the Tony Williams band at the Roxy in LA. That's the first time I saw Bunny live, and it was a remarkable night. And to think that many years later I would be a good friend and playing with and working with him, it's real buzz.
Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, happy hump day. This is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. Guys, I'm going to tell you, man, I've been blessed over the years to have played and recorded with the best of the drummers, the Jeff Piccaros. The list goes down the line, the Garibaldis, the Steve Smiths, et cetera, et cetera. Never had a chance to play with this brother, but we do have a lot in common, and I'm going to jog his memory, if you will. Today, I got to tell you, I'm proud and privileged, and I mean, we're here about promotion for a new music consortium coming up on October the 14th, but there's so much more to talk about in this man's incredible and illustrious career. So with that said, I want everybody to welcome with open arms and open ears to Jackie's Groove. He's a beast, but is better known as Mr. Virgil Donati. Virgil, welcome to Jackie's Groove, brother.
Hi, Jackie. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man. You know what? Let me just tell you something. I have, as I said, I was talking, another buddy listening to us today is Todd Circumant from Styx. Everybody was really, really excited that I got Virgil on the show. And as I said before, all the boys and girls over at DW are tuning in right now also, so we want to give a big shout out and say hi to them. But, Virgil, what's really, really cool, as I said to you on the break or before we started, you and I met each other well over 20 years ago on our drumstick company called Vater Percussion. That's VATER.com, Percussion. And we did a photo shoot years ago. And I still remember that double truck spread. It was me, and I was blessed to have Carl Parasso and Raul Rico next to me, and you were to my left, standing up there in a black shirt, giving a peace sign and holding sticks in the other hand. And I have to say it, man, we both had hair back in those days, my brother. And
wow.
You know what? The hair is left, but we still have the talent, man. And I want to talk about your career, man. Let's just jump right into it. What's going on in the world of Virgil?
Well, that's a loaded question. There's always so much going on.
God bless.
Right now, I'm producing a new record with a new band of mine, which is actually a band project. It's not just my. It's not a solo thing. It's a band, which I've been wanting for quite a while. It's a progressive rock sound. And it also includes vocals, which I haven't done for quite a while. I've been involved in so many instrumental bands for so long now. And in fact, most people in this country wouldn't be aware of my rock and more commercial roots back in Australia, which, go way back to the 70s and 80s when I started my career. And so I wanted to, get back into something that's perhaps a little more accessible, but still very, very musically interesting and creative. So this new band is called Icefish, and we are launching it as we speak. The new debut record comes out on October 22, and we're just releasing our first video this weekend.
Virgil, give me the name. Spell the name of the band again, please, for the listeners out there.
It's Icefish. ICEFISH. Quite simple.
Beautiful. And then, let me jump into this for a quick second. What makes it different than, let's talk about Loose Change and, Southern Suns and On the Verge, Soul Circus, Planet X. What is different other than the vocals? What is the genre of music? What are you going to go after? Is it progressive rock? Is it fusion rock? Explain to us. Make it in layman terms for the listeners.
Okay. Well, in the simplest terms, you would call it progressive rock, but it's got a very strong pop rock element to it because vocally there are a lot of very melodic and simple hooks. So in that sense, it's kind of divergent from the typical progressive rock, heavy metal influenced music. It really has a nice balance of the really creative, experimental music along with the hooks and the vocal hooks. I think that's really the simplest terms I could explain it in right now.
Let me ask you this question, and not to sound naive, but nowadays with radio, but is there radio-friendly music on this release? I
think there is. I like to believe there is.
Good.
It's certainly probably not K-rock material, but it's
exactly.
It's certainly got a lot of potential in terms of being accessible to a nice cross section of an audience.
Sure. And Virgil, are you at liberty to give a shout out to the players that are on this album?
Oh yeah. So
please do.
It's actually an all Italian band, and I guess I can include myself in that because although Australian born, I am of pure Italian heritage. So
I'm right there with you, brother.
Yeah, all the guys live and work in Italy, and the guitarist is probably one of the better known of the players, Marco Sfogli, who's a wonderful guitarist. Such a melodic approach and a wonderful tone. The vocalist also doubles on bass. His job, he's just unbelievable what he has to achieve in this band. The material is not that simple to play, and he's got to sing, over and above that simultaneously. So his independence is quite amazing. His name is Andrea Casali. He's from Rome. And the keyboardist and also mixing engineer and co-producer is a guy called Alex Argento, who also played and mixed my last two records, In This Life and The Dawn of Time.
Beautiful. And a question I want to ask you, my friend, through the advent of technology, through the advent of big file companies like Dropbox and so on and so forth, and the fact of either Logic or Pro Tools, and we can go and record all around the world and never have to leave our home. But with that said, you chose an Italian band, obviously not just because they're Italian, but the fact is that they're capable of handling a Donati project. But what motivated you? What led you to this group of crazy wops to grace your album? What brought you there?
Well, that's quite simple, really. As I said, Alex and I started our relationship through the In This Life record. I'd made contact with him just prior to that and became aware of his talents, skills. And through Alex, I actually became aware of Marco Sfogli, this amazing guitar player who was someone who collaborated a lot with Alex. And he ended up playing a lot of the guitars on In This Life as well. And through that project, we talked and decided, okay, why don't we try and do something little progressive with vocals,
Mhm.
and we searched for vocals, and then this name Andrea Casali came up, and was someone they had worked with also. And when I heard him, I thought, wow, this guy is just perfect. So really came as a consequence of working together on In This Life, my solo record.
Beautiful. Let me ask you this question, brother. I mean, now that the album is done, it's in the can, as they say. But once that button is pushed, called the mastering, once it's done and it's signed, sealed, and delivered, have you heard the final product? Have you actually got a chance to sit down by yourself with your headphones in or in front of speakers? Did you smile, or did you look at yourself and say, fuck, I missed something? Are you 100% sure you got what you were going after?
Well, we're not quite there yet. But I'm sure we got what we're going after. We're still in the process of mixing and just putting the final touches on a couple of tracks. So we're really running on a tight deadline here. We need to be ready to go to press in about maximum 2.5, 3 weeks. So we're going to be working to that deadline. But in the meantime, I can sense and I can feel that this is. I mean, in fact, your question you ask is very. It's a very good question, because how do you know your direction and that your vision is coming to fruition? When it's a debut record, it's a new band. How do you work together? That synergy. Are you going to write the tunes as you planned, or as you had a envisioned? And I can honestly say that I think I'm very, very pleased the way it's all come together, and I think the synergy and the chemistry between the four of us couldn't have worked any better for a debut record, and I'm very excited, to see how our fans and our audience, our potential audience, takes to it.
And that's a good part you brought up here, because
that's the real test there. Until you put it out there, and and your fans hear it, that's when you really know whether you've hit the right chord. Literally.
And let's just talk about getting together with this group of guys that you put together on this new album. With Virgil Donati, his name withstanding, you go to Italy, you go to Rome, you play there. Are their names alone, being the Yo-Cats in that area, will their name, set aside Virgil Donati, but will their name pack a room, pack a venue to hear this new release, because they want to see again, quote unquote, the synergy between an Australian Italian, a real Italian, if you will, out of Rome? Do you think their names are going to add to the selling capability, packing in rooms?
I think it will. I mean, I think with the combined names and the reputation that those guys have in their home country, I think it already has created a buzz and a bit of an excitement.
Cool.
In fact, we are doing our main CD launch party in Milan, in early December. So I'll be able to answer that question precisely in December, but I think it's going to be a very positive turnout.
Brother, and let us put our best foot forward. I want to extend that quintessential olive branch. Once the album hits and it starts getting legs and traction, please allow us to welcome you back and welcome the band back. But through the advent of Skype, we can get all the guys from Italy and you out here in LA and myself out here in the San Diego area. Let's see if we can do a little more promotion on it to get that thing moving. And we've been very, very successful. Yeah, man, we just sold out venues all across the Western U.S. With our dear friend Al Di Meola. And speaking of the intensity of that style of music, I want to go and ask you a very fair question. And is Virgil's personality, is Virgil's prowessness, is Virgil's attitude in the studio as intense as your playing is? I guess what I want to get to be, are you an easy guy in the studio, or are you an asshole? Share with me.
Am I a what? Sorry, I missed that.
Are you an easy guy to get along guy in the studio, or can you be the quintessential producer asshole?
Oh, well, I can be either, because usually nowadays we are very isolated in our work, very isolated. So much work is done by file exchange that quite often I'm in the studio producing my work on my own, or producing, if I'm working as a sideman, I will be sent files and I'll work with those files. And then after I've played my initial track, we discuss it with the client, and usually the feedback is 100% positive. So I've had no issue to be an asshole in any way, but nor would I be. It's just not part of my persona. But I can understand the question. There probably are some people. Some other people.
When you are in the studio and you're by yourself and you're isolated in the studio by yourself, does Virgil get along with Virgil? I guess that's a better question.
Oh, yes. I think at this stage of my career, I'm, my initial musical reaction is fairly accurate. Like, I sit down and play a track that I may have not heard before, and I get all kinds of tracks, and a lot of them are very progressive and could be difficult, and some of them not so. But my initial musical instinctive approach to a track is usually the best, and I don't struggle with too many things, to be honest with you.
Good.
But I do like to craft them. Like I'll run the tunes. I want to get comfortable with it, with the arrangements, and then I'll do a pass. I'll do a take, and listen back carefully, and be honest with myself. And if I like it, there might be a few sections I don't like, or I think I think I could do better, and then I'll just I may drop in certain sections and just finish it as I see fit, and that's it. As simple as that.
Virgil, I'll make this real simple also too. We're coming out of the first segment right now, and I want to pick up some more information based upon what it is that you do to prepare yourself when you're going into the studio, either as a sideman or as your own project. I want to know about. Let's talk about your kit of choice, DW drums. I want to find out. The listeners want to find out what differs from you and that studio rig versus a live rig, and you can share with us. So when we come back on segment number 2 on Jackie's Groove, we're going to be picking it up with Virgil Donati, the beast that he is, the Australian wonder kid that kicks my ass and people worldwide. So with that said, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the second segment of Jackie's Groove. Don't go anywhere. Mr. Donati, don't go anywhere either.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
The Moyer Entertainment Group, in conjunction with Daddario, Radio Airplay, and Looploft, is keeping music in our local schools and presenting local talent to the world through the Temecula Valley Music Awards. Submissions for entry into the TVMA 2017 season are now open in all genres, including a youth category for artists under 18 for the October 7th Star-Studded Awards Show, where 100% of the proceeds go towards supporting local music education in the Temecula Valley. Details, tvmawards.org.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Todd Zuckerman from the rock band Styx, and you're listening to my pal Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove. Groove on, motherfuckers.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
All right, my friends. Now, that is what you call fusion to the 10th degree. And that gentleman adding that groove so deep that you have to get a ladder to get out of it. I'm talking about Mr. Virgil Donati. Guys, Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you Talk.
Can we keep playing it?
I love it, man. Yeah, we can, Paul, can we play some more of that? Thank you, sir. Virgil, I'm not going to let you get away without telling me and the listeners out there, what is the genesis of that tune? What were you on? What were you thinking? I got worn out. Talk to us about it.
Okay. Well, first of all, I mean, the record's called The Dawn of Time. It's my latest release, and it's, as you can hear, an orchestral record. In fact, that track there called The Winds of War is probably the most fusion track on the record. But nevertheless, very symphonic in nature. And I've been wanting to express my musical ideas in this way for a long time. And, to me, like, orchestral music has other layers to it. It's so emotive. It's so rich and layered. Like when you think of the greatest music, it doesn't just move you with melody and rhythm. It conjures up things, thoughts, feelings, images, experiences, memories, all these other ways of inhabiting the world. And so this is the effect that symphonic music has had on me for a long time. And I knew that I somehow I could bring this out. And fortunately for because of the, now we have these amazing tools and virtual instruments at our fingertips. It's kind of paved the way to more conveniently and effectively bring our musical imagination to life. So if it wasn't for those tools, I could never have put those ideas down in symphonic form. I can't just write them on paper and then go and hire the LA Phil and have them play it. So that wouldn't have been possible in the past. So that's one thing that I can be grateful to technology for. But I'm very excited about this record, and basically the ideas are my standard. That's how I think and feel music. That's what came out. It was a long labor to get it in that final form, but nevertheless, it's just music that I hear, and I sat down and played at the piano, and the same with the previous record, In This Life, which was more on regular ensemble, rhythm section. Mm-hmm. There's some, to the average listener, there's some stuff that you think, well, how do you write that stuff? That's just how I hear music. That's how I've trained myself over years and years of. And to me, they're just stock standard ideas in my inventory of, musical creative ideas. That's just part of me now. So that's how it comes out.
Simply ridiculous, my brother. I got to tell you, bravo. I'm that song. When I get off the line, I'm going to be playing it. We got to keep ourselves to a limit here because we have a wonderful thing called the Facebook police, and we want to make sure we don't anger them. Because everybody wants their fingers in the pot, to say the least. Now, let me ask you a question, my friend. I'm going to go back to what we talked about on the break. Virgil Dodani goes live on stage. He's got his kit, and regardless of how big or how small, commando or a huge setup itself. When you are in the studio, are you implementing the same type of kit, if you will? Are you? Let's talk about the kit you're using with DW itself. Is that kit you're using, is it a dual purpose kit, meaning studio and live? Explain to us. Yeah,
pretty much. I think it's I have a standard setup, and some people may consider it huge. It's not really a huge kit comparatively to some that I see out there. It's I basically use my standard kit, which I may or may not use at every gig, but in my studio it's permanently set up. And it's always mic'd up and ready to go. And I like to record myself quite a lot, because that, apart from the functional, fact that I'm playing a lot of sessions, it's also I also record myself to listen to myself and to practice. It's just a wonderful way to push yourself and to learn more and more about your playing and to hone in your skills. But the setup and the drums are pretty standard. In the studio, I have an all maple collector's series kit, and it's just 1, 2, 3, 4 toms, kick, main snare, and an og snare, and a gong tom as well on my left, which I love. Currently, I'm using that for everything. It's amazing. It's an 18-inch gong tom, and that's I have a lot of cymbals to choose from depending on the project I'm playing.
Right.
And snares, and that's basically snares and cymbals that change for any given project.
And Virgil, let's not talk about the old kit you used to play, the other company. And I ask this because it seems very, very strange to us. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just my friends, and maybe the fact that I've been with LP Music for the past 28 years as my percussion choice, who now is a part of the family of DW Drum Workshop Incorporated. But with that said, I want to find out and see how you are along the lines with JR and Jamie Wallum and all the other guys that are using DW. With that said, what drew you over to Drum Workshop? What was it that you said, fuck, this is the shit? Is that what you said, per se, in your own words? What drew you there? What's keeping you there?
Well, initially, a big part of I think of the industry is personal relationships. And the one thing I loved about DW were, first and foremost, the people. The people I had to deal with and communicate with are just remarkable. John Good, Don Lombardi, Scott Donnell, Jules Thomas, Stephen Vega. I mean, everyone there is just wonderful human beings, first and foremost. And it just so happens they make an amazing product, which, yes. You hear the word DW, the name DW, and it's the brand speaks for itself. It's comparable to BMW or Mercedes-Benz, or it's, it doesn't get any better. And when I discovered, my first tour with John Good, how he thinks about wood and just his passion and drive to keep innovating. I thought that was so impressive. And the drums, just wonderful.
Of course.
So many.
Have you had the opportunity? Let me jump in here. And it's kind of a naive question. The opportunity to have John with that big smile and take you through the factory. I mean, he took our network through the factory. And I got to tell you, you talk about just between the glue and he showed us all these different racks of all this amazing wood. In fact, his book out right now called A Book of Plies. I don't know if you've got a chance to see that, but you want to pick it up, man. It's amazing. In fact, better yet, have John send you one. It's the least he can do. And on top of that, if you get a chance, you haven't seen it already, you got to check out the 45th anniversary drum set. It's just stupid. The work that went through it, Virgil, is amazing. So, that's my.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's my push for that itself. But go ahead. I want to talk. So, with that situation, another question coming in too: how many different snare drums do you employ on the average recording session?
Well, I find, if I find one that works for the specific sound of the session, whether it be, one track or three tracks or maybe the entire record, I like to stick with the same one as much as possible, unless there's a particular track that really requires a different tone, and then I'll try a few. I'll put up a couple of snares and just see if anything else works. But generally speaking, once I'm on a roll with a session, I can make it work, with the sounds I have going. Because let's face it, if any particular session has a particular direction and sound, then there's no reason why it shouldn't work for all the tracks,
Right. That makes sense.
Although, like I said, there is room to make some interesting moves with snare sounds. There might be a track where a really high cracking snare might be good, and yet for some of the other tracks you might need something that's a little more mid-range or bottom end. So you detune this, use a snare that you can detune and still make it sound fat. So you got to consider all the options. But as I said, usually you can make one snare drum sound good for most of the session.
Beautiful. Hey, let me ask you a question, Virgil, if I may. I can sit here and go for 5 hours with my brother Virgil, just because of all the stuff that you've done and so many different genres of styles of music that you're playing. But the reason why we're here right now, and we're going to pick this up when the new album comes out, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk more about Virgil Donati as the leader itself. But I want to talk to you about one of my dear friends. And this whole thing that we're doing right now on this interview that we haven't touched on, that we must touch on, is a group called CAB, C-A-B. And that's going to be a consortium of players: Bunny Brunel, Virgil Donati, Mitch Foreman, Julian Coriel, and also Kayleen Peoples. And this is going to be a great, great, great situation at the Backstreet Bistro in Newport Beach on October the 14th. And a lot of people don't know, but people who know Bunny Brunel, that he's an amazing bassist, but people don't realize the fact that he is a master chef. And I think this whole vibe about feast and fusion, it kind of plays off in a double entendre, if you will. Feast, we know we're going to eat it, but you can also feast on this amazing music. and fusion. There's so many different types of fusion between food and, of course, with this music. I cannot wait to get a chance to hang with you there and to see the situation where you're going to be with these different players itself. Are you excited about CAB? It's a stupid question. You wouldn't be doing it. Are you enjoying what you guys are doing right now itself? And are you enjoying the time with my good friend Bunny?
Oh, Bunny Brunel. I mean, the guy's a legend. He goes back. The first time I saw Bunny, I was 19, a fresh, baby-faced kid who traveled from Melbourne, Australia to the US to study and to see his idols play, which I was deprived of way down there in Australia, down under. Mm-hmm. And I happened to see Bunny with the Tony Williams band at the Roxy in LA I think it was 1980 or maybe it was 79 because I was in the States 79 and 80 for about a year and a half. But that's the first time I saw Bunny live and with Tony, and it was a remarkable night. And to think that many years later I would be a good friend and playing with and working with him. It's real buzz. Yeah, back in the day when CAB formed with another great friend, Dennis Chambers on drums, icon. It got to the point where, Dennis lived on the other side of the country. It was getting difficult for them to work, to liaise on. And I got the call from Tony McAlpine asking, if I'd be interested, and Bunny and I, and we talked and we played, and from then I've more or less been doing most of the gigs. So it's been a real pleasure and honor. So Bunny is a legend, and it's great to be working.
I'm just so thankful. I'm just so thankful, Virgil, that Dennis is back and he's healthy, and that's something to definitely be blessed about. And I want to talk more about inspirations, if you will. I'm going to jump in here because we're going to be running out of time on the second segment. But I do want to talk more about this as a musician to a musician. I want to find out, for all the multitudes of people worldwide, Virgil, that you've inspired, you've got inspirations also. And I want to ask you some unfair questions. Again, maybe not unfair, maybe fair, but the fact is I want to know who inspires you in the way of drumming, who to this day still knocks you out. And, it's always good to be oogled upon, but it's always nice to have a legend yourself be a fan of other amazing legends. So when that comes back, I want you to think about that. Put your thinking cap on. And I'm curious. The listeners worldwide are curious. And I'm going to ask that question when we come back on segment number 3 of Jackie's Groove. Guys, this is Jackie Bertoni. I'm talking to Virgil Donati, and it's brought to you all by the Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. So, Virgil, take a deep breath. We'll be back one more segment in this last hour of this interview. I'm having a great time. I hope the listeners are too. I know you are, and Virgil, I hope you are also. So with that said, segment 3 right around the corner. Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, Intertalk Radio. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Michael McDonald, and you're listening to my good buddy Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, welcome back to segment number 3, a final segment of a 1-hour interview with my in-studio guest, Mr. Virgil Donati. And before we move forward, I spoke to Virgil on the break there. We had a great clinic 2 weeks ago in San Diego, National City, actually, at one of our biggest sponsor, which is Pitbull Audio. Had a great turnout with John Good from DW Drums and also Mr. Russ Kunkel, another iconic drummer. Had an amazing time. And speaking to Pitbull Audio, please reach them at pitbullaudio.com. They just want you to play it loud. I've been talking to Virgil about Vader. They're one of our other sponsors. Also, that's Vader.com, Sabian Cymbals, Sabian.com, and DW Drums, Drum Workshop Incorporated at dwdrums.com and lpmusic.com. And you guys, when you can't listen to Jackie's Groove live, do yourselves a favor, do us a favor. Go on to iTunes and or Google and download our easy-to-use and easy-to-navigate application. 2 words, Intertalk. Second, radio. Take Jackie's Groove and the plethora of other shows on our network on the road with you. So I just lost 20 pounds on that. So Virgil, welcome back, brother. You know, we talked about inspirations, man. You know, we talk about, being standalones, doing things that were different now in the studio. Like when I'm in my studio, I'm tracking myself and it's everything through files. But, we do have a team of people behind us that make it all happen. The team at Intertalk Radio, which got a hold of you and Bunny, and hopefully we've got so many years ahead of us from our lips to God's ears that we can have some good longevity with the Donati family and everything that you're doing. But I want to say a special thank you to my team. And I want the CEO of our organization, who's a big fan of yours and a dear, dear fan and friend of Bunny's. With that said, Virgil, do me a favor. Say hi to Florentino Buenaventura. Florentino, say hi to Mr. Donati, please.
Hey, what's up, Virgil? How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Florentino. Good Italian name. I love it.
And I love hearing an Italian name with an Australian accent. That's awesome.
That's right. But I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. Speaking of our Italian heritage, my real name, as in passport, is Virginio.
Wow. That's awesome.
Forever, when I was still in high school, joined my first rock band, they started calling me Virgil, and that kind of stuck. So really, it's not even Virgilio, it's Virginio. So I'm actually Virginio, which is the male version of Virginia, I suppose. But that's yeah. Anyway,
that's awesome, man. The secret's out now, though. I just want to let you know there's a lot of people that know it now. So speaking of friends, I have a friend, Rick Christostomo. I'm going to give a shout out to him. He put in the post that we put out, Thunder from Down Under. So my question for you is he talking about your drumming, or did you have another career before you started playing drums?
Well, you know what? I cannot claim that title because I believe it was Frank Gambale who was the first one to be the Thunder from Down Under, and in fact he titled one of his solo records Thunder from Down. So I'm I cannot claim that one. And no, I didn't have any previous.
Hey, man, this music business is crazy. So you never know what somebody did. Like Bunny being a chef, who would have thunk? An amazing chef.
Well, I had no idea until he told me, when he booked me for this gig. I'm like, what?
Right,
I had no idea.
I was, Kayleen had a party and went to that for her birthday. And he cooked the cuisine that's going to be happening for the night of the event. And it was amazing. I felt completely blessed to be there and partake in that. And I'm looking forward to having all the people that are going to be joining us to have that.
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to feed the band, though. That's not always taken for granted.
Oh, no. We're going to feed the band.
No, I don't know, man. They might give us the band menu, which is,
No,
yeah, we got
not a chance. I'll make sure of that.
We got the hot dogs in the back.
Yeah,
so.
hot dogs and the fish and chips,
Nah, this is you're gonna love this venue, man. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous venue right there on the marina. And in fact, I'm going over there today to talk to some folks about some more events that we're gonna be doing there. But it's a beautiful, beautiful venue, and it's good. The whole thing is going to be this just tremendous event, red carpet. In the whole 9 yards, a lot of press are going to be there because it's the launch of this series that we're doing, and it's really special.
I had no idea. This sounds great. I should bring my best DW kit then.
You should. I think we're going to try to get John, and if John's in the country, he's always traveling. John Good, that is.
No, he's here now.
Oh, is he? Okay, cool. We're going to try to. I told them about it when we did the DW day, and they were thrilled because we were all thrilled when we found out that you were going to be playing drums for Bunny because he's got a good collection of folks, but you definitely have been his go-to person. That the fact that you were available was just a blessing for us.
Yeah, that's I'm looking forward to it, and I'm going to be honest about Bunny's cooking skills, though.
You should. Well, it's French, and you can kind of throw in, hey. It'd be good if it was Italian, right? But yeah, man, and you're just such a tremendous artist on your own. And one of the things that we did with this network is why we created this network is to spotlight incredible talents like you who don't always get the marquee billing, but definitely are the marquee players to bring out the best in the whatever artist that they're on tour with or in the studio with. So we want people to know more about you and how they can find out more about you. Give us like URLs, any of your social media, all that fun stuff.
Well, I do have I have most of the social media out there. I have a website which is simply virgildonati.com. My Facebook musician page is Virgil Donati, /Virgil Donati. There's also a personal one, but most of the relevant info is on the main one. Instagram, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and that's about it, I believe. And I try and put up some very, very cool content on all of those, and I do have a YouTube channel where you can find some of my best clips, and I do go to a lot of trouble to produce really high quality clips on tour, including, audio. I record audio and do a mix and sync it with video, so it's not just crappy iPhone or a GoPro audio. I more often than not, 95% of the time, I will produce a clip and make it an experience for the listener and the viewer.
Well, hey, man, we're going to hopefully be able to provide you a little bit more of that because one of our secrets is we're actually going to be doing a live broadcast of the whole show. So no one's supposed to know that. Oh, I kind of let the cat out of the bag. But we're going to have multi-camera live switching. It's going to be tremendous. So, and then of course we're going to get some great clips of all the different players, and we'll definitely be able to share that with you. Are you going to be recording the audio on multi-track, or is it just going direct to two-track? Multi-track.
Wonderful. So we can even mix it after the event for the clips?
Yes, correct. So we're going to multi-track it. Obviously, it has to go two-track when we're broadcasting on Facebook. For the live stuff. But after that, for the YouTube and all the clips and stuff like that.
We can actually remix and do a nice job of it. That's wonderful. Well, I might put up my hand to perhaps help out there. So.
Oh, we'd love it, man.
Beautiful.
Your tracks you recorded for Bunny are just beyond amazing. I was, another thing, I was surprised that Bunny mixes his own tracks. I'm like, wow. And he goes, it's easy, man. You got, Virgil playing drums. He sends it to me pretty much already done. You just have to either make it either louder or softer. That's pretty much it. You don't have to go through and do any processing. So, you definitely got an artwork handle there.
Cool. Well, yeah, I enjoy it. Like I enjoy to put out, high quality product out there, because basically, you're putting your work out there, your life's work, and I don't, I really, that's why I don't really encourage people to film live shows on their phones and then post clips, because it really, I think it really misrepresents. Even though some people, sometimes, you can still get something from it, but why not go for the full experience, and do it properly,
Exactly. But, so this is going to be an amazing time, and definitely appreciate you being on the network. And I have a tendency to commandeer this microphone from Jackie. So I think I should probably pass it back, because he's definitely the one who's got all the great questions.
Okay. Well, great to meet you.
All right, definitely, brother.
Look forward to seeing you at the show.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be a blast. And I'll make sure that you don't get the hot dogs and mac and cheese in the background. We'll make sure you get a crouton or a little lettuce leaf or something.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Perfect. All righty. Thanks, Florentino. Hey, I want to jump back into this, Virgil, in this last 6 minutes itself. I asked you right before we took that break, or on the break itself, about all the multitude of people that you have inspired, drummer-wise, music-wise, and so on. But let's step back for a second. Who inspires, let's stay with drummers for a second. Who inspires Virgil to this day? Who knocks you out in the way of performance?
Well, that's a constantly evolving, I think, consideration, because I had my heroes when I was at a very young, impressionable age, where I was really still forming who I was. And of course, back in those days, let's talk about the 70s, 60. I mean, I started at 3 years old, so my father bought my initial. I had no idea what to do when you're 3 years old. So my dad was a musician. He bought me at the time, early 60s. There's Buddy Rich and all the big band records, and that's where I started. And from there, later on, when I was 10 years old, I joined a record club and started buying, some of the rock records, the progressive rock bands like Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Yeah. And I loved Deep Purple, and Ian Pace was amazing, and Led Zeppelin. I bought all those records. Then I went back again, and the fusion movement, with Chick Corea and Return to Forever and Billy Cobham. Amar Vishnu, all those bands, and the solo records of all the guys in those bands, like Billy and Lenny White and Stanley Clarke, and then I heard Steve Gadd with Chick, and so those guys were the seminal players. They're the guys who really inspired me at an impressionable age. Terry Bozzio was such a force of nature in the late 70s, with Zappa, and then with the Brecker brothers. And so that's where I came from. And then later on it was, Dave Weckl and Vinnie Colaiuta was certainly huge inspiration. And, I love people like Simon Phillips, who I got to work with much later. He produced one of the Planet X records and recorded my drum. We recorded, so I was working with him every day on the Moon Babies record, and it was quite daunting having a drummer like him kind of push the record button and analyze my every note in headphones, after a take. And
very cool.
So
yeah, man.
And that's a beautiful record. His production, his mixing on that record, Moon Babies, is wonderful, so organic, and it's so natural, and so it was inspiring to work with Simon, and full circle to the present day, you have so many amazing young drummers. What drummers are doing now in the 20s, it's taken me a whole lifetime to achieve, and you know, I guess they've got so much to draw on now that it's, you know, they're starting where you know, some of us older generation guys have left off. You know, they listen to all that and then they take it further, and they're still evolving, of course, also. But it's wonderful to hear where things are being taken now, and it just goes to show you that things don't stand still. They just keep moving, and you either go along with it, you keep practicing and you know, and pushing your limits, or you just slow down and you take a back seat and you just rest on your.
Where's the fun in that?
You know, and then you really, you know, which is fine if you're a legend. You know, that's the way it is. So I've still got the fire burning. I still feel like I've got so much to learn and to give, and
amen.
And therefore, I'm producing the records I am, and hopefully some people get something out of it, you know.
Absolutely. You know, and let me jump in here real quick in the last 2 minutes. I have to ask you this question because since your whole life, my whole life, the people that I interview, their whole lives are wrapped around eating, sleeping, and drinking music. But I got to ask this question. I'm curious because as tense as your mind is, in the last minute and let's say a minute and 20 seconds, if you weren't playing music, if you had nothing to do with music at all, Virgil, what would you be doing in your life right now?
I'd love to be a writer. I love books.
Okay.
I love the English language. To me, it's the romanticism of being a writer who can just go off in some exotic, isolated spot in the world in a cabin somewhere in the middle of nowhere and just spend months writing. I just find that very alluring. So that's a very simple one for me. I would try to be a writer.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Hey, guys, and the listeners out there, do me a favor again. Please patronize this man. Find his music wherever music is sold. iTunes is where I went out and purchased. Yes, I do purchase music, guys. I'm not a millennial. I don't understand streaming, so I will pay to put my best foot forward to take care of my brothers and sisters in the industry. And with that said, please go to YouTube and discover Virgil Donati. If you're a fan of his, fine. But check out all the great live performances, his technical prowessness, and so on, and also VirgilDonati.com for everything Virgil. And when we will be blessed to have Virgil back on when the new album comes out, believe me, we'll put our best foot forward for you guys, the band, Virgil, to make it all happen. And then I cannot wait to personally give you a handshake and a hug when we get together on the 14th of October. Actually, and we're going to make it all... Yes. Can I
just step in for a minute there? You mentioned the website. There is, if you go to the website, there's on one of the pages, I can't remember which one right now, but you'll find there's a widget for a free download of one of my tracks from In This Life called Red Air. So if you don't have any of my tracks, you can download that, start with that, and perhaps migrate to iTunes from there.
I'm jumping in, brother, right now. I'm going to lose you itself. So everybody say thank you to Mr. Virgil Donati. As Jackie always says, peace through music. Thank you for visiting Jackie's Groove. I'm Jackie Bertoni. Virgil, God bless. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on InnerTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.